I just want to welcome everybody tonight to the 5th annual Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery ceremony. I'm Robin Hutton, and those that have been here before, I'm going to be your MC again tonight. We are so proud to be doing this for our 5 years in a row. I'm the president of Angels Without Wings, which is the nonprofit that spearheaded the dedication of 6 national monuments to Sergeant Reckless, the Korean War Horse hero. And we also have 2 monuments. We put one in for Canine MWD Luca, one in Texas, and I'm happy to say that U.S. War Dogs is putting in a second monument to Luca on Thursday to honor her. The Animals in War and Peace organization has been part of Angels Without Wings since 2018, and we are so grateful to be here tonight. My co-hosts tonight are Mary Lou Livingood of the Livingood Group and Chris Willingham of U.S. War Dogs Association, and you'll hear from them in a moment. Tonight we honor 7 canines who had no voice and no choice, but have served so valiantly for our country in war and peace. And it's in honoring them and remembering their stories that we pay tribute to the men and the women that serve so valiantly alongside of them. Tonight, we will award 3 dogs with our Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. Sadly, all of our Medal of Bravery recipients will be posthumous, but the incredible news about all 4 of them is that they all served with some branch of the U.S. Army at some point in their careers. So that's pretty awesome. And we have quite a few Army working dog supporters here in the audience tonight, so that's really great as well. So thank you all for joining us. And before you all leave tonight, please be sure you look at the amazing artifacts over here that we have of the animals. And people have been so emotional when they go up and they actually see, especially those that aren't with us here, to really kind of touch them and feel their presence as part of this wonderful celebration of what they did. So I'd like everybody to then stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, Aguirre. Yeah, you know it too. That's wonderful. So once again, we're here to celebrate, recognize, and honor our canine warriors at this time of year because Thursday, March 13th, is National Canine Veterans Day, a day set aside to honor and commemorate the service and sacrifices of American military and working dogs throughout history. It was on March 13th, 1942, during World War II, that the Army began training for its new war dog program, and it was called the Canine Corps, and marking the first time that dogs were officially part of the U.S. Armed Forces. So Thursday marks the 83rd anniversary of when the Canine Corps began. And in honor of Canine Veterans Day, I'd like to recognize 4 past recipient dog handlers who are with us here tonight, each one from our previous ceremonies. So fellas, when I call your name, if you wouldn't mind standing so we can recognize you. From our first ceremony in 2019, Chris Willingham with MWD Luca, Medal of Bravery number 6. From our 2022 ceremony, we have Marshall Morarky for Canine Hurricanes Heroes, DSM, Distinguished Service Medal number 1. And we want to throw out a condolences to Marshall. He lost hurricane a couple of months ago, and so we really feel your pain tonight, my friend. In 2023, we have Travis Harrison for K9K, Medal of Bravery number 15. And from 2024, Canine Cody is in the house herself with her dog handler, James Overton, of course. So they're present with us again. Thank you all for joining us. This is wonderful. Right now, I'd like to call up Mary Lou Livingood, president of the Livingood Group in Washington, D.C., and selection committee member of Animals in War and Peace. She has been with us since 2018 and has worked closely with members of Congress on our past resolutions.
Thank you, Robin. It has really been an honor and privilege for the last 8 years to work towards recognizing our American animal heroes, their handlers, and their families. Thank you so much. The Animals in War and Peace Medal Ceremony started with the support and encouragement from the late Senator John Warner of Virginia in 2018. Senator Warner's legacy continues to inspire us today to recognize our service animals for their acts of resolute and fearless defense of America's freedom and peace. Since 2018, members of Congress have helped us to recognize these brave animals. Just yesterday, March 10th, the third House resolution was introduced to the Committee on Armed Services by Congresswoman Julia Brownley of California. The resolution acknowledges the importance of honoring our brave animals' valor and achievements in protecting and serving our country. It is my great honor to recognize the members of Congress who join us tonight to celebrate their achievements. We are so grateful for their extraordinary support and their time, especially today, and by presenting medals to our animal heroes. I want to recognize Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who was one of the first members today to join on the House resolution sponsored by Julia Brownley. And we do want to mention that Congressman Donald Norcross of New Jersey will be joining us, Congressman Gus Bellerakis of Florida. Obviously, Congressman Van Drew will take the first medalist, and Congresswoman Jennifer Higgins of Virginia will be joining us. So it will be kind of a flow since the House vote on the continuing resolution is taking place this afternoon. So bear with us. We're going to have to move some things around, but we are so honored that Congressman Van Drew can be here with us right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. We are so honored to have these members of Congress here tonight. And I would like to take a moment, too, to welcome a few other special guests who have joined us tonight. General Sarah Albright, the 20th Provost Marshal General, Commanding General of Army Corrections Command. Sergeant Major Sean Klosterman, Provost Sergeant Major, Army Corrections Command. Sergeant Major Viridiana Lavalier, U.S. Army Military Working Dog Program Manager, and Colonel Griffin Merrill, 7th Special Forces Group Airborne, Deputy Commander of the 7th Special Forces Group. Welcome and thank you all for being here. This is just truly an honor to have you. The dogs we're honoring tonight represent the hundreds of military law enforcement and volunteer agencies who unselfishly serve and protect our communities every day. And we're actually offering a new award this year. It's an Exceptional Service Award, and it's going to Stubby, the World War I dog. And this recognition are for those animals that don't quite qualify for the Medal of Bravery or the Distinguished Service Medal, but they do deserve some recognition. It is the Animals in War and Peace Exceptional Service Award, and the first one going to Stubby, who was a World War I canine, was the unofficial mascot in the Army's 102nd Infantry Regiment and assigned to the 26th Yankee Infantry Division. He was nominated by Connecticut National Guard. Stubby's story is legendary, and he was first injured by mustard gas. After he recovered from that, he learned how to warn his troops of mustard gas attacks. He also located wounded soldiers in no man's land, and since he could hear the whine of incoming artillery shells before humans, he became very adept at alerting his unit to duck to cover. So he was solely responsible for capturing a German spy. So we are honored tonight for Stubby to be the very first recipient of this new award. Sadly, a representative from the Coast Guard, from the National Guard couldn't be with us tonight, but his certificate is over on the table and you can check it out. But he's Army, so I love that too. So our first medal tonight, we're going to jump right in and do thank yous later. So our first medal tonight is going to be a Distinguished Service Medal. And our Distinguished Service Medal is presented to an animal to recognize distinguished and exceptionally meritorious service in the performance of their duties. This medal is awarded to an animal trained to provide a service to the military or first responders. They must distinguish themselves by extraordinary service and heroism, not justifying the Medal of Bravery award. To justify this award, exceptional performance of duty, clearly above that normally expected, which has contributed materially to the success of a unit, command, or department. The medal is also warranted for sustained superior performance throughout the course of their duties. And of course, this exemplifies our first DSM medalist tonight, K9 Aguirre. So K9 Aguirre of Vineland, New Jersey Police Department, Aguirre retired from duty in August of 2022 after 9 years of faithful service. Here is his wonderful story.
My name is Louis Platani. I'm a retired police sergeant from the Vineland City Police Department in New Jersey, and this is my retired K9 partner, Aguirre. Aguirre is a German Shepherd. He comes from the Netherlands, and we were paired together in December of 2013. Aguirre is trained in both patrol and narcotics. He's patrol-wise, he detects human odor, tracking, apprehension. Everything has to do with a drive. So his greatest strength was his nose. There's nothing that compares to a dog's nose. Our typical day at work, me and Aguirre would get up in the morning, primarily day shift at the time. As soon as he saw my uniform on, he knew what time it was, and it was time to go to work. And he knew what time it was when he came home. Getting into police work, I always wanted to become a canine officer. It was one of the things I sought out to do. Little did I know getting partnered with such an extraordinary dog would be life-changing. What he means to me is the fact that I'm able to spend every single day with my wife and kids because he brought me home safe. Aguirre absolutely loved being in the spotlight. So National Night Out was one of his favorites. We would go out there and he would get to go do his thing, jumping out of the car, and run down after the guy with the sleeve. He loved going to school demonstrations. I would bring him to all these elementary schools in town when they were reading about police dogs and police canines. I would show them a real police canine, and the kids would come up and be able to pet him, which was really amazing that he was such a headstrong dog that during work he just knew, I need to go, don't approach me. But in a school setting, he knew, all right, these kids are all my friends. And, during Aguirre's time on the road, we were paired up. We helped the U.S. Marshals, FBI, DEA, state police, and surrounding jurisdictions here, both for narcotics and for patrol purposes. Some of the incidents that stand out in my mind are back in March of 2015, Aguirre and I were on the road, and I encountered a subject where we ended up getting into a physical altercation. That subject was able to actually get an upper hand on me and was able to grab my handgun with both of his hands. Aguirre was let go out of our car, and he came immediately to my aid, apprehended the suspect, and was able to actually help take one of his hands off of my handgun. I tried everything I could, and it wasn't until Aguirre showed up that I was able to actually break free from the suspect, and we were ultimately able to put him in handcuffs. Another incident that comes to mind is back in September of 2016. Me and Aguirre were working overtime shift, and during that time, we heard on the radio a struggle with a couple of our officers. It's probably one of the hardest things I ever heard on the radio was hearing them screaming for help. I immediately jumped in my police car with Aguirre. Another officer jumped in with us. We drove directly to the residence, and as we pulled up, the sergeant was on duty, called for a canine. Without hesitation, I grabbed Aguirre by his black collar and ran into the residence. As I was walking into the residence, one of the officers that was involved in the struggle was stabbed in the face. He was walking out of the residence covered in blood. I immediately went into the bathroom with Aguirre and saw them fighting on the ground with the suspect. I gave Aguirre the command to apprehend, which he did, at which time they were able to put handcuffs on the suspect. And that's one of the awards that he got from the state PBA for a unit citation for his actions while on duty.
There it is.
3-8, call 1 now.
Disregard, I got a gun on the back track. Look at that. Good job, bud.
Guy over there.
Good job. That's a good boy.
I'll get you now.
That's a good boy. Yeah, good boy. That's a good boy. Stay with that. I'm going to go bring him back. What a good boy. You're like a boy. That's like a boy, good boy, good boy. You found it.
Getting the Distinguished Service Medal means a great deal. It finally shows how wonderful his career was and the impact that he had in our community and in my life. And if he only knew exactly what this award meant, it would probably mean a whole lot to him too, but he was just doing his job. That's all he ever asked for, was just to do his job.
K9 Aguirre retired in August of 2022 after 9 faithful years of service. And tonight we are so very proud to award K9 Aguirre with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal number 9. Congratulations, Aguirre, for your distinguished service with the Vineland, New Jersey Police Department. Such a good boy. Everyone, please join me in welcoming K9 Aguirre and Sergeant Louis Platania to the front, and Congressman Jeff Van Drew, Aguirre's member of Congress, who will say a few words and present the medal to Aguirre. Go on, right up. Yeah, right up there.
I have always loved dogs my entire life, and in fact, to be honest with you, I've had either shepherds or shepherd mixes my entire life. So, you know, my life has been one of perpetually having dog hair on the carpet, dog hair on my suits, dog hair on just about everything I own. Anybody who's had dogs, especially shepherds, can really relate to that. They're special. Dogs are special. Unconditional love. I guess that's the word. You know, you can have a bad day in the office, a bad day at home, a tough day at work. They're always with you. They love you, and they're there to help you. It's an amazing symbiosis. It's an amazing attachment that human beings have with dogs. It's interesting now, just as an aside, just my own story. So we've had at the most 4 shepherds. Mike, you know that. I've told you that before. And it's great to see the folks from Hurricanes Heroes here, which is a whole separate thing. I hope you all talk about that and learn a little bit more about it later. Before I forget, it's just like our veterans. We have to make sure that when these dogs have done their service, when they've spent their time, when they've made their sacrifices, that we remember them and that we take care of them and just don't discard them and forget about them. And that's what Hurricanes Heroes is about, so it's a good thing, and we're proud of the work that you do. So I have a shepherd right now. Usually I have 2, 3, or 4 of them, but I have one right now. And we run him hard every day. I live out in the country. We have some acreage. He was running real hard, and his leg got caught underneath the limb of a tree, and he shattered what would be our elbow really badly. They tried doing titanium implants. Didn't work. So right now I got a tripod of a shepherd. He's doing great. He runs hard, he plays, he's happy. It's amazing. Unlike us, we would be like victims forever. We'd be so upset about it. It's like, okay, I got 3 legs, I can deal with it, move on, let's have some fun, let's go outside, you know. I don't have the words to say how much I respect the work that our law enforcement, our military does, and that these animals does. They're part of the team. I don't have to tell you, they're there. I'm proud to say that Vineland, New Jersey is in my district, and I'm proud of the work that you all do. I'm proud of the work that you all do, and it's just as good to be here with you. So I'm going to present this award. Now I want to make sure I do this the right way. I've done a lot with dogs, but I haven't done these. I've presented these with people. But I'm going to assume I'm just going to come over and put it right on them, correct?
Tie it in a knot. I think that one was made for a horse. There you go. Awesome. Yay! Woo! Go to that one.
I wish I could stay here. We are voting on one of the most important bills of the year, a continuing resolution, so we don't close government down. And let me tell you, it's a tight vote, and they'd be kind of mad at me if I didn't show up. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
I think he wants to vote on that too. Well, this is a complete privilege to be here. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Thank you, Congressman. My wife, you've been through this with me the entire time, the ups and downs. We're finally getting some good press, right? Not used to that. I'm used to negative press, but I'll take it. Billy Bonnecue, his wife Christy, he picked this dog. He was in charge of the unit, and he brought me on. And I'd like to say I hope I made you proud. Chief, Captain Scarpa, Lucido, you guys are brothers with me. I appreciate it. Tommy, hey, can you believe it? This is a lot for me. Paul Zavon, Hurricanes Heroes, Marshall from Hurricanes Heroes, just went to an event of his and told him a couple of my stories. And he was like, it sounds like you should, the dog should get an award for that. Fighting with somebody on PCP is no joke. He gave me a run for my money and almost didn't get out of that. The dog did exactly what he was supposed to do. So thank you guys for everything, and I appreciate this total honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Lou. This is just wonderful for you to be here. We're really, really grateful. So we're going to be jumping around. Our next medalist, well, could we do the invocation next, or should we do? Okay. So the chaplain has joined us. No? He's got to go? Okay. It's good? Okay, great. The chaplain, Brune Kibben, is going to give the invocation. Nice to have you back with us.
It's
this
great
is like
to be
your
back.
third or fourth ceremony with us.
Yes, it is. It's a
I
wonderful
love it.
opportunity to be a part of this, and I'm very grateful for all that you all do. I'm also very grateful that I have the opportunity to give thanks on your behalf to our Creator. Would you pray with me? God of all creation, that you would bless us with the privilege of sharing our days, our work, and our play in the companionship of these service animals. It's a grace gift that keeps on giving. To be the witnesses of their devotion to duty and the recipients of their loyal dedication has given us both pride and pleasure time and again. We need only look into their soulful eyes and discover the very special connection you have allowed us to share, a connection that knows no limits, responds to all needs, and defends against all threats. In them, we are blessed with insight into your limitless love for us, your ever-ready presence in times of trouble, the hedge of protection you promise us in the face of all uncertainty. Many may say this is an overstatement, an exaggeration of the natural inclinations of these animals. They're just doing their job. But when you created these animals we honor today, you erased all doubt that these dogs were designed to serve as a special reminder of your abiding presence and your steadfast love. May this ceremony serve somehow to speak into the souls of these warriors and reward them with our deep gratitude for their example, not just of duty, but of devotion, not just of obligation, but gallantry, and not just service, but sacrifice. Bless each one of these dogs, that they would know of the reward that you offer them through the care and the love of those who handle them and all who love them. It's in your eternal name we pray. Amen.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you again for joining us. All right, so our next medalist is going to be Mr. Warner. We switched up again. Number 13, slide number 13. Mr. Warner worked for the Springfield, Massachusetts Police Department for 8 years before he retired in December 2021. Here's the very special story about Mr. Warner.
My name is Eric Blair. I'm with the Springfield, Massachusetts Police Department. My call sign is K94, and I'm with retired K9 Mr. Warner. I worked with Mr. Warner from November of 2014 to December of 2021. So Mr. Warner is he's a Belgian Malinois and Shepherd mix. He was imported from Hungary. He got his name through an essay contest that was given through Warner School.
And where did the Mr. Warner come from?
You know, I thought by adding a Mr. it would be a distinguished name for him. He's very popular in the community. We did a lot of canine demos for all the areas of the city. We would go to Warner School every year and visit all the kids that helped name him. He received a Dakin Humane Society Award for just in general his whole career and all the highlights of his career, over 30 the guns that he had found. He found numerous narcotics on calls. You know, a couple that come to light are a home invasion that was up in the Forest Park city sector of the city, and we had gotten a call that 3 armed suspects had broken into a house and they had pistol whipped a woman and she had a serious eye injury, so we sent Warner in. He ended up apprehending all 3 suspects and placed them under arrest. We found lots of drugs and guns, and that was one of them. And then a second one, it was the night he retired. He went after a suspect that fired at officers and broke into a home in the city, and we deployed him into the house he had broken into, and he located the suspect on the 3rd floor hiding in a closet. He also found the firearm that was used. Springfield Police with a K9. The gun right there. Yep. Yes. K96. Oh, you got it. Springfield Police with a K9. Good boy, buddy. And he retired 2 hours later. 2 weeks after he retired, he got real sick. One of his hips got this big mass had grown on it, and he was looking at 3 surgeries with $8,000 of surgery cost. And at that time, it was a lot of money, and you know the community stepped in and they did a GoFundMe, and they raised enough money to take care of him and treat him and make sure he had a healthy, happy retirement. Heroes Law was put into motion with Massachusetts because of medical staff could not transport animals if they were injured while working.
I mean, that doesn't just make sense to a normal person. If there's a canine that's injured, they just couldn't treat him, they just had to leave him, and it was up to the officer to get him the proper care?
At that point, yes, because of mass law, they could not treat these animals. They had to be treated. We would grab these dogs and throw them in our cruisers and try to get there as fast as we can, and somehow try to give them medical care in between. And you know, we were losing a lot of dogs. Warner, he assisted with numerous medical agencies throughout Western Mass and even Eastern Mass with training all their techs into how to care for these dogs if they were to be wounded while working. So I want to say probably over maybe 1,500 people that he's trained in his retirement, you know, and so it's a good law, and I'm glad it was passed, and if it saves one dog, it was worth it. To me, it means, you know, all the hard work and dedication that this dog gave his body and everything to the city of Springfield, and you know, he was one of the most successful dogs in the department, and it just means a lot for him to be able to be recognized and be an ambassador to the city of Springfield for all his hard work and to put Springfield on the map in Washington as to how great our canine unit is and what we strive for in these animals.
Mr. Warner assisted in hundreds of arrests in his 8-year career, including but not limited to over 30 firearms cases, narcotics cases, armed robberies, and assisted multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Massachusetts State Police. He is the most decorated canine in the history of his department and has received multiple local and national awards throughout his career. Even in retirement, Mr. Warner continues to serve his community. And today we are incredibly proud and honored to award Mr. Warner with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal No. 8. Congratulations, Mr. Warner, for your dedication, love of your community, and distinguished service with the Springfield, Massachusetts Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the front Officer Eric Blair and the wonderful Mr. Warner. And I'd like to call up Congressman Don Norcross to the podium to say a few words and present the medal.
Mr. Warner, how are you, buddy? Oh, you too. It's a real honor to be here today. When I served in the New Jersey State Senate, I had the honor of giving the award for retirement to a police dog in Camden City that had the most arrests in the history of the state of New Jersey.
Wow.
So today we see we're doing that once again to, they call them service dogs, but I call them companions. We understand that bond between human and their dogs. And after reading and hearing the stories, obviously he has one of those also. Highly trained, saving lives both back home. We understand what dogs mean to us. They are working, but so are their handlers, so are we. But the love and connection, and if any of you have ever driven over to the Capitol, we have one every time we go in to make sure that we're safe. So we see that day in and day out. So on behalf of a grateful nation, I'd like to present this to Mr. Warner, who apparently had the right size for him.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. That's awesome.
Bear with me for a minute here.
Step
Sorry,
up to the
I've
mic. Yeah, there you go.
I've been battling a cold, so bear with me. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the animals in War and Peace, as well as Robin Hutton and all the staff that made this possible. I'd like to thank Paws of Honor, Hurricanes Heroes, for helping with Warner's vet bills, and it helps out so much. What a beautiful ceremony. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, everyone. I would like to also express my gratitude to my family and friends, especially my wife, Carmela, and daughters, Evelyn and Lillian. They were so supportive of me throughout my canine career. I'd come home late, had a rough day. They were always there. They understood. I missed out on big events, but it was for a good cause. So thank you for always being there besides me and supporting me for what I love doing. I'd like to express my gratitude to Cheryl Clapprood. She was my ex-commissioner. She retired. Superintendent. She always supported me over the years. She got my start in canine, and she always made sure I had what I needed to make my job successful and be successful on the street and for the city of Springfield. Throughout my 10 years as a canine member, she was always there for me, and I can't thank her enough for making this trip. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to the city of Springfield, Mayor Dominic Sarno, as well as the Springfield Police Department for all the support they've offered me through the years. Throughout Mr. Warner's career, he was an excellent partner. He was always by my side, and he remains so to this day. With all the trials and tribulations, Mr. Warner has shown himself to be one of the finest canine officers to ever work for the city of Springfield. Mr. Warner officially retired in December 2021. He continued to work as a trainer and advocate for Nero's Law. Nero's Law was passed after a canine handler was killed in Cape Cod. They were serving a search warrant, and he was shot, and the handler passed, and his partner he was injured in the line of duty. And at that time, Massachusetts couldn't send any AMR staff or medical staff to transport these dogs to a vet to get proper care, so it was all on the handlers. So we fought for this law to get passed, and it's now passed. So, in addition to Nero's Law, Warner's actually been assisting with Dakota's Law. We're trying to get that passed, so all these dogs, when they retire, they get the proper medical care they need, and they should have it, because their bills do rack up after they retire with all their medical costs and everything. So we're trying to get that passed in Massachusetts, that they'll have support when they retire. So under Dakota's law, the state would provide financial assistance for retired canines for all their medical needs throughout their life. In addition to being an honor for myself, this is an honor for the future canines of the world, and it's an honor and privilege I will never forget. My thoughts and prayers are with all the working and non-working canines and their handlers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric, for being here. And thank you, Mr. Warner. You did a good job there, buddy. Okay, so our next medal is going to be a Medal of Bravery. Our Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery is awarded to animals conspicuously distinguishing themselves by displaying gallantry and acts of valor within the performance of their duties. There must be no margin of doubt or possibility of error in awarding this honor. To justify the award, the animal's performance must clearly be rendered conspicuous above their expectations by an act so outstanding it clearly distinguishes their gallantry beyond the call of duty from lesser forms of bravery. The act of execution of bravery must be performed in the presence of great danger or at great risk, and must be performed in such a manner as to set them apart from their fellow working service animals. As you will see from our 4 medalists this evening, there's no doubt that describes their services. The first Medal of Bravery tonight is going to be for MPC Luca, X496. MPC Luca was with the Army 7th Special Forces Group Airborne, and then the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi. Luca was killed in action on February 21st, 2024, while serving with the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, but his actions saved the lives of his handler and other surrounding officers. Here is his story.
My name is Paul Leslie. I'm a lieutenant at the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi. I'm over the K-9 unit, and I'm also the trainer there. We got K-9 Luca after he retired from the 7th Special Forces Group after over 5 years of service. Then he came to us and was able to continue to serve here in DeSoto County, where he served with his handler, Sergeant Nick Cook. I first met Luca several years ago at a joint training session with the 7th Special Forces Group. I could tell right away during the training, Luca was a very strong, very serious dog, especially in the patrol category. He'd been on multiple high-risk missions for some high-value targets. In one particular encounter, Luca and his group encountered an enemy machine gunner who just absolutely wreaked havoc on the battlefield, which claimed some of the lives of some of the soldiers that were there with him. During this encounter, Luca fearlessly grabbed his handler by the arm and drug him to the ground as the bullets from the machine gunner impacted all around him, and he actually drug his handler out of the kill zone. In that moment, Luca's immediate action, 100%, saved the life of his handler. A few short years later, Luca retired from 7th Group, and we were able to adopt Luca at the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office.
I'm Sergeant Cook with the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office. I had the privilege of being Luca's canine handler. Luca was a Dutch Shepherd. Him and I were certified in explosive detection and patrol work. Here at DeSoto County, we had a lot of patrol work, and I would consider his tracking one of the strong points, and we did a lot of that, tracking violent criminals and suspects. There's times where we're working the streets and working patrol, and then other times where we're pulled away to assist special divisions, whether it be fugitive or detective divisions, and there was nothing that Luca wasn't prepared to do. It didn't matter what came across the radio or what we were tasked with. I had zero doubt about Luca when we got to that deployment. On
February 21st, 2024, some of our patrol deputies encountered a violent armed felon and a vehicle pursuit began. The suspect dangerously drove down a busy highway. The deputies were able to use stop sticks to flatten the tires. A tactical vehicle intervention maneuver was performed, which spun the vehicle out. Once they performed the vehicle intervention, the suspect barricaded in the car, and he refused to come out. The suspect had a long criminal history with violence. Sergeant Cook and I, we responded to the scene, and the windows of the vehicle were breached after we got there, and Luca was released. Luca entered the car, and he apprehended the suspect. Luca was doing an absolutely amazing job as he fought the suspect inside the car. Incredibly, I started to see Luca drag the suspect out of the car, just inch by inch. He was coming out with him. As Luca was bringing the suspect out of the car, the suspect fired towards us. As soon as the shot broke, obviously it was startling, but I saw the shockwave go through Luca as he was struck by the suspect's gunfire. Sergeant Cook and I immediately snatched Luca out of the way. As we pulled Luca out of the window, deputies returned fire, killing the suspect. After doing what we could do, Sergeant Cook rushed Luca to the veterinarian's office, but Luca ultimately succumbed to his wounds. Luca's bravery in this moment saved Sergeant Cook and I. We were just feet from the suspect's muzzle when he cranked off a round in our face. Luca took the initial assault of the gunfire, which I know saved not just our lives, but the lives of the other deputies that were standing right there beside us as well. Luca instinctively put himself in harm's way without hesitation. His fierce bravery, it will resonate with me as long as I live. There's a very small group of us that are going to be forever connected because of Luca. Not just because we knew him, not because we were just around this dog, but because he actually saved our lives. And for us, Luca is the symbol of bravery.
Luca was a warrior, and I'm just thankful and honored to have been able to hold the leash.
In June 2024, MPC Luca was given a brick next to the 7th Special Forces Group Canine statue at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. And today, we are incredibly honored to award MPC Luca X496 with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 21. Thank you, Luca. Your impact and memory will live on in the hearts of the U.S. Army 7th Special Forces Group Airborne and the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office for years to come. God bless you, Luca. Friends, please welcome MPC Luca's trainer, Lieutenant Paul Leslie from the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Luke Burkhart, Luca's handler with the 7th Special Forces Group Airborne, and Colonel Merrill Griffin, Deputy Commander of the 7th Special Forces Group Airborne at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Unfortunately, the Congressman was not able to make it tonight, so I'm asking Chris Willingham, President of U.S. War Dogs Association, and he's also on one of our selection committee, to come up, say a few words, and present the medal for Luca.
After 25 years working with the working dogs, I continue to find myself inspired by what these dogs are capable of, and Luca has an incredibly special story. It's very rare to have a dog that was able to serve in combat in a law enforcement mission set, and what you saw on full display was just that faithfulness, the loyalty, and the courage that our canines demonstrate to us. Absolutely incredible special canine, and it's just an honor to be a part of this ceremony with y'all. And for the dogs who are no longer with us, we just say never above you, never below you, always beside you. And it is my distinct honor to present the Medal of Bravery to in honor of MPC Luca's service and sacrifice.
Thank you, Chris.
For those that answered the call to go and serve, we realized real quick there's only so much we can do on our own. But when we're together and when we're paired with one of the animals, like what we're honoring here today, we're unwavered and unstoppable. I can't thank y'all enough. This is an amazing experience for us. We're very humbled, but greatly honored to be here, and we thank y'all for allowing us to accept this award on behalf of Luca. You saw in the video, he was a warrior and hard to deal with on most of the easiest days. But at the very end, we have to thank Luca. There's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer, and he absolutely volunteered his life for us. from day one when God made him, all the way up until his last day. And we thank him, and we thank y'all very much.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you everyone for coming to this. I especially want to thank Animals in War and Peace, as well as Ms. Hutton. I really do appreciate it. It's an honor and privilege to be up here. I also want to thank Paul. When it came time for Luca to retire, they asked me if I wanted to take him home, and I didn't think it was the right time for Luca. Luca wanted to keep working, even though the Army thought he was too old to do the job that he was doing. I appreciate you, Paul. I appreciate DeSoto County Sheriff's Department. You gave Luca a purpose. You gave him what he wanted to do and what he would want to be doing right now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to quickly recognize two other members who served with Luca with the 7th Special Forces Group, Sergeant First Class Chad Davidson and Sergeant First Class Justin Hansen. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. This really means a lot. So our next medal tonight will be K-9 Mata. K-9 Mata is receiving Distinguished Service Medal number 10. K-9 Mata just retired from the Wood County, Texas Constable's Office in December, and here is his wonderful story.
I'm Constable Kelly Smith, retired. This is Mata, my police K-9. Our position is, obviously I'm the constable. Certifications that he has a patrol certification, a narcotics certification with 5 different odors, and he also has a tracking certification. We met in fall of 2020 and been working ever since, and we retired at the end of this last year. We've been working together across 4 different counties. Primarily he does a lot of kids demos. We do a lot of training. The typical day for patrol on us is about a 12-hour shift, sometimes 16-hour shift, and just working the street, proactive patrol, and then we also respond to agencies in the county and the surrounding counties when they need a narcotics dog or a tracking dog. He does a lot of community events. He enjoys being with the kiddos and seeing them and spending time with them, and we also give little trinkets out or whatever for them. He's got his expert certification in tracking about a year after he started working, and he's probably done best in tracking through his career, and we've had the most results out of tracking, small kids or bad guys. His favorite thing is hanging out with the family. Now, as you can see, he's pretty much retired. He's very social. What he likes to do, when he's working, he can be on an apprehension, and as soon as he's on the way back to the truck, there's no downtime that has to be done. He's immediately, if he's on a bite or a track, the other officers around him don't have to worry about getting bit or anything like that. What's it like working with him? It's just pretty much like a friendship when we spend so much time together anyways. My partner and I, Jeff Hammond, who's a deputy constable for me, has been with us for the whole time, and he does a lot of training with us, and they have a real good camaraderie or bond also, and we see that in some of our tracking events. As far as what he means to me, he's my buddy. He likes to, we go just about everywhere together now when we can. As far as the DSM, the importance to the constable's office in our community, it just solidifies what he's done through his career. He's had several kid finds. Had a 12-year-old we found late one night. It was real cold at night, and he was able to locate that child, which would have been bad for them to be out overnight if he wouldn't have found them. We had as far as the DSM award specifically, we had a felony, barricaded felon in a local community. Another agency called us to assist. A couple agencies went to assist. Barricaded felon with a track record of evading police, hurting kids, hurting spouse, stuff like that. Went in and got him. When we went in and got him, bad guy, in the process of the apprehension, broke my finger, messed up my knee a little bit. His dog, the bad guy's pit bull, actually attacked Mata and grabbed his service harness, was pulling him out of the bathroom. Mata stayed on point. Bad guy kicked him. Obviously, Mata apprehended him and took him into custody. Probably one of our biggest battles, as you can see, he's being a goofball. But probably one of our biggest battles for that and the DSM award is it solidifies what we did on that warrant service. But it just means a lot to the constable's office and to our community to be able to show the rest of the community how important and how big of an asset he is as a police canine. We really appreciate it.
During his time in service, Canine Mata grew into a local hometown hero. For the first few years of his service, he was the only police canine available in his county and was the primary canine to respond and assist other agencies across 3 counties. Constable Smith and Mata logged in over 1,100 training hours together as a team and had over 96 deployments that were high-threat, potentially violent response calls. On September 12, 2022, for their continued service overall and wonderful relationship with their community, Constable Smith and Canine Mata received a U.S. flag that was flown over the Capitol in Washington and a certificate of special congressional recognition from Congressman Lance Gooden. And today, we are so very proud to award Canine Mata with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal number 10. Congratulations, Mata, for your wonderful dedication, devotion, and distinguished service with the Wood County, Texas Constable's Office. Please welcome Canine Mata and Constable Kelly Smith to the front and give another warm applause to Chris Willingham, again from U.S. War Dogs Association, who will present the medal. Sadly, Congressman couldn't be here tonight.
So you're going to deal with a Marine from Alabama. Again, it's incredible to see these dogs' capabilities, and I love to see the dog who has the full mission capable set of going from community events to going out and locating lost children, and then when it's time to get dirty, he's able to get dirty. And I know you can train these dogs to a very high level, but there's some things you just can't replicate, and you just hope that when you face that unknown threat that your dog performs, and Matt absolutely performed beyond expectations, and it is my absolute pleasure to present the medal for Matt's service.
See if he'll mind while I talk. I'll keep it quick, I promise, Robin. Quick background, I wrapped up at the end of the year with a 27-year career in law enforcement, ranging anywhere from DEA task force, working undercover, police chief, FBI National Academy. I'm sure most of you sitting in here could probably name off a ton of stuff that you've done, but just a quick background on me that brought me to meeting Mata my last 8 years as constable, as an elected official in Texas. But over that 27 years, I think the most recognition, second to Mata, would be my wife, Renee, Rachel, Jason, Aubrey, and Sarah, and of course my mom. They put up with so much stuff from us cops over the years, the times that we're gone, the 3 o'clock in the morning call-outs, the stuff that we have to deal with at work. We try not to bring it home. But Mata was donated to us by canineofficers.org, so he was actually gifted to us with my first dog. He was second to my first dog, if you will, Juma, who passed away. She died from Addison's disease. Mata came in and took the reins and just excelled with what he did. The citizens of Wood County, the leaders in Wood County, Texas, back home, when we went through our battle, I've told myself from the beginning that we're going to keep this positive, but when they tried to put me in prison for 3.5 years, and 11 and a half years when we went to trial for doing our job and apprehending a felon. After a 5-day trial, we won because the truth came out. And I look at all of our officers and our veterans and realize that every time we use of force, be it minor or major events, we are scrutinized to the highest level, and it's not the way it's supposed to be. We're out there doing our job with a code of ethics and a code of morals and upholding our oath. And I look at all of these veterans, and I'm a Marine, don't hold it against me, but I'm the commandant of our Marine Corps League detachment back home. And as veterans, we know that's a family that we expect to have in law enforcement, and it's a family we have in law enforcement. But we have to stand with each other. I've had the opportunity through our battle over that year to minister and talk to so many people, officers and veterans, that go through the same thing. They're being scrutinized, they're being indicted, they're being drugged through the mud and on the media. Their families are paying the price, and our families didn't sign up for this. We did to an extent, but we have to stand with our brothers and sisters as we do our jobs that our country calls us to do. I want to thank our 2 training groups that I train with back home, Tyler and Sulphur Springs. Cody Skipper and his team, that was my defense team, and we battled what we called the gremlins, and we won because we stood up for what was right. But so many of our brothers and sisters say, oh, well, I'm just going to plead because I don't want to go to the battle. If you're right, what's God tell us to do, stand. And when you've done all else you can do, stand. And that's what we did. But I'm humbled to be among such amazing K-9 heroes. I'm looking at some SF guys here that I completely and totally respect. Y'all been to the wall. And hats off to y'all. We are so outclassed in this category and humbled just being up here and having the opportunity for Robin to present us with this and this amazing organization that we didn't even know existed. But what a great organization it is, and their mission is phenomenal. Many don't understand the loyalty that we have with our dogs. Some pet owners can relate, but when you spend day in and day out with these dogs, you bleed with them, you sweat with them, you train with them, there's nothing like it. And the only bad part is they just don't live long enough. Sometimes I wish they lived longer than us. I think it'd make it easier. We've been able to use these experiences to teach other officers and continually certify other K-9s. The irony in this is going through the battle we did, standing up here with MATA, receiving a medal, and they also made us certifying officials for other K-9s across the nation. So as I'm sitting and certifying these officers, and they know my backstory, and they know the trials and tribulations we went through, I just hope that we can use just a small piece of that so that they can learn from our experiences. Handlers, thank you for your dedication. Families, thank you for supporting your handlers. And God bless you.
Thank you, Kelly. Really appreciate you and Mata and the family being here with us tonight. Our next Medal of Bravery this evening goes to Combat Assault Dog Spido from the U.S. Army Special Operations Forces. CAD Spido was killed in action on May 13, 2010, but his actions saved the lives of his handler and other soldiers. Here is his amazing story.
Hello, retired Master Sergeant Sean Gregory. 10 years with the Use of SOC Canine program. I had picked up Spido in March 2009. It's my second dog in the program. Spido was trained for human apprehension as well as explosive detection. Typical day for training for us ranged between basic canine training, mission-specific training, to full mission profile scenarios. Spido was an incredibly easy dog to work and was evident from the beginning that his eagerness to work and please would fit in well with the assault troop and mitigate any threats possible overseas. In my opinion, he was the unicorn dog that every handler should strive to want. He made my job easy. His best attributes was he was easy to switch back and forth between work and play. You can hang out with him, you can play with him, but you can switch it back on and go work when needed. Spido was killed on May 13, 2010, in an operation close to Kunduz, Afghanistan. I was not there that day as I went home to celebrate the birth of my daughter. My team leader took out Spido an effort to keep them working and keep them going until I got back to finish the deployment of my assault troop. Upon infill, the assault force took small arms fire. After a brief firefight, Spider was called forward to clear a small field with chest-high grass. Encountering multiple enemy combatants, being recalled to the handler, the assault force dispatching those enemies along the route. Towards the end of the field, close to the target building, final enemy combatant that Spider located stood up and shot AK automatic fire towards Spider and the assault team. Spider was struck. The assault team immediately dispatched that enemy combatant and then took grenade frag from the side. My team leader went to render aid. When aid was finished, he returned back to Spido and seen that Spido had succumbed to his injuries. Spido's action saved lives of his teammates. Spido's dedication and companionship will be deeply missed by his teammates and I. Spido receiving this award means so much to me that he was recognized by his unit and by the country for his life-saving actions on target. I may not have been him with that day, but I'm honored to receive this reward for him. Thank you.
When the enemy revealed himself by engaging with Spido and his handler, the unit was able to take him down. If it wasn't for the bravery and selfless actions of Spido, his team members would not have had time to react. For his exceptional actions, we are very proud to award Combat Assault Dog Spido with our Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 20. Thank you, Spido, for your incredible devotion, service, and sacrifice with the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. Everyone, please welcome retired Master Sergeant Sean Gregory from the U.S. Army Special Operations Command to receive the Medal for Spido. Joining him is, excuse me, my mistake. Congresswoman Jen Kiggans. She'll say a few words and present the medal here.
Well, thank you. It's just a privilege to be able to share that story. I mean, it's a remarkable story, and I know that you are proud of Spido, as we all are, and I think that just this medal just symbolizes his bravery and your relationship, your friendship, and hopefully just allows you to just honor him in his memory. But thank you so much for your service and sacrifice.
Our next Medal of Bravery for tonight is MWD Mento V527 from the United States Army 95th Military Police MWD Detachment, Joint Base Lewis McChord. Mento was killed in action on June 19, 2019. Here is his amazing story.
I am Sergeant Hunter Lobb. I was assigned to the 95th Military Working Dog Detachment out of Joint Base Lewis McChord, where I was assigned Military Working Dog Minto. Minto was a 56-pound Belgian Malinois. He was a patrol explosive detector dog. His primary focus was controlled aggression and patrol work alongside explosive detection. So Minto was more than just a canine partner to me. We got along very well from the beginning, minus the few times that he did bite me. But I didn't hold that against him. I knew it was what he was trained to do. Luckily, he was a very good explosive detection dog as well, so ultimately we had both those assets on lock. He was probably one of the best dogs that I've seen within this program in a very long time. So Minto and I, we were assigned to a special operations team in Syria. We were there to assist in fighting against the hostile forces in that region of the country. Once we got word of where the enemy combatants were located, we made our way to this village. The team that I was assigned to, we started maneuvering through this village looking for the enemy combatants. At this time, me and Minto, we were partnered up with one of the team guys and the partner force that we had. We were maneuvering through a field. I noticed a two-door barn building. Looked a little suspicious. I brought it up. We decided to make movement towards it. Utilizing our SDF forces, we essentially made entry into this building. As soon as they made entry, that's when the small arms fire came out. At that point, everything is kind of a blur. The adrenaline rush at that moment, all the gunfire going around, screaming. A few of the partner forces were hit pretty bad alongside Minto. At that point, once the chaos had ended, I was, checking myself, making sure I was good. This time I hadn't really noticed that I was hit or anything, but I did take some shrapnel to the face and to my left arm. As I looked down to my side, I saw Minto laying face first in the dirt, and that's when I had that moment of what just happened. Knelt down next to him, check him out, see if he was okay, and that's when I rolled him over. I heard him take his last breath. It definitely broke me for a second there, but luckily the team I was with, they were very supportive. They helped me get through the hard time. After that, I had to do what I had to do to keep me busy, so I helped out with the medics, providing first aid to some of the other casualties that we had on that mission. I do know that at the end of the day, if it wasn't for his sacrifice, if it wasn't for him, there's no telling what would have happened during that operation that day. He definitely saved some portion of me when he went. I know if I was maybe one step to my left, probably wouldn't have half of my leg right now. So I do thank him for that. Unfortunately, I do miss him on a day-to-day. It doesn't cross my mind at least once where I don't think about him. He was a good dog. He's probably one of the best dogs I've had, and nobody will compare to him.
During his time in service, Minto conducted over 20 U.S. Secret Service missions, 30 VIP sweeps, 3,456 hours of law enforcement to JBLM, and 2 deployments to Soto Cano Air Base and the Middle East. His actions saved the lives of his handler and the soldiers involved during the assault. For his brave actions, we are honored to award MWD Minto V527 with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery No. 22. God bless you, Minto, for your unwavering devotion, service, and sacrifice with the U.S. Army 95th Military Working Dog Detachment, Joint Base Lewis McChord. Please welcome General Sarah Albright and Sergeant Major Viridana Lavalier and Sergeant Hunter Laub, Minto's handler, to receive the medal from Congresswoman Kiggans again.
Thank you. Well, congratulations to Minto and to all of you. You can tell what a special dog he was, and just his dedication and the relationship that you had with him. I mean, it's truly remarkable to watch, and we are certainly grateful for his service and for your sacrifice. But again, hope that this serves just as a memory to him and in his honor.
I was also unaware I had to give a speech today, but we'll roll with it. Big thanks to Staff Sergeant Chamo for submitting this medal for Minto. Big thanks to Master Sergeant Adams for also helping out that. I appreciate it a lot. Big thanks to my mom and my dad. They're here today. Couldn't be here without them. Definitely a hard time telling them what happened, but My mom's kind of been through it. Dad was canine handler for 14 years, kind of why I wanted to do it as well. Big thanks to my wife for being flexible. Big journey for her, marrying into a military family, and appreciate all the other support. Sergeant Major LaValle, keep doing great things for our phenomenal program. And thank you all for being here today. I appreciate it.
You want to say something?
So first and foremost, it's an honor and privilege to be a part of this ceremony as we recognize these phenomenal American heroes for protecting the home front and abroad. I'd like to thank the handlers for their dedication, their bravery, and their service to their country. As a handler myself, I like to say that this is very humbling, and it's an opportunity for us to kind of take a step back and realize the importance it is for us to make sure that we're training these military working dogs and canines to the best of our ability and trusting them when the time counts. And not only that, but taking them and taking care of them, on and off duty. It's our responsibility as handlers to do that. And again, personal thank you to the staff, to the team that is doing this incredible ceremony, to senior leaders across the Department of Defense, our interagency partners, our law enforcement, and even the public, just for taking the time to recognize these American heroes, to realize what they're doing. And again, just thank you again.
I think she said all the good words. I mean, these amazing dogs, how blessed are we to get to serve alongside them in whatever fashion we do. And you can look and say, what makes that animal run toward danger? And you could say it's the exquisite training or the amazing ability of their handlers. But I think what you heard today, when you see these dogs and their handlers and you hear the stories, they're running toward danger because of love. They love their handlers. They have an incredible bond. And we in the Army know just how important they are to us to be able to accomplish their mission. They do it in so many different ways with our special operations community, our engineer community doing bomb dog detection, and then these dogs in the military that go from really police work on base camp and station to traveling with the Secret Service to going places like Iraq and Afghanistan, Syria, wherever they are called. It is an amazing privilege to work alongside them, and I really just want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to honor them today. Thank you.
Thank you, General Albright, for being here, and thank you, Hunter, for flying in from South Korea to be here tonight to honor your hero. It's really something special. All right, so our last medal of the evening is number 32. Got it? Great. Our last medal for tonight is SOF Canine Conan, receiving Medal of Bravery number 23. Conan passed away in November of 2023 of cancer and injuries sustained during his service. Here is his heroic story.
Hello, my name is Travis Roberts. I recently retired out of the Army after 21 years of service. 7 years of that, from 2015 to 2023, I was a canine handler in USASOC. It's where I met and was paired up with my first work dog. His name was Conan. We became a team in 2015 while I was in the canine handlers course. I deployed 5 times with Conan. Throughout those 5 deployments, Conan engaged multiple enemy personnel inside a building and also outside hiding. During training, I rappelled down the Hoover Dam with Conan at night. It's about 600 feet down the front of the dam, and when we got to the bottom, we then assaulted the interior of the structure. That was probably the coolest training event I did with him. In 2019, my unit was called upon to conduct a no-notice, presidentially directed raid deep in the heart of northwest Syria to capture or kill the leader of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He was the head of the caliphate. He was known as the mastermind to numerous atrocities across the world for the rise of ISIS in Iraq and Syria, and for the capture, rape, and torture of American citizen Kayla Mueller. But he was the #1 target on the terror watch list. And when we finally pinned him down and found out where he was. We were extremely fortunate to be a part of the team that got the call. October 26th, 2019, we loaded helicopters and flew into the target area. First thing we did was isolate the building, which doesn't allow anyone to leave or to come into the target area. Once the building was isolated, we began to try to call out guys that were inside of the structure to come out and surrender. Told them that they were surrounded and by American forces and to come out. Most of them didn't want to come out and they wanted to fight, and they were dealt with. But we still didn't have Baghdadi at this time. So before we actually initiated the assault, we heard a large but muffled explosion that sounded like it was underground, and we figured that we knew he had wore an S-vest, suicide vest, and we figured that that's what we had heard. So once that explosion went off, we determined that it was time to enter the building and assault the building and find Baghdadi. Something that's not very well known is we actually had 2 dogs on target that night, and we used them simultaneously to clear the structure in front of the assault force. So we sent one dog into a breach on one side of the building and sent Conan into the breach on the other side of the building, and they worked in opposite directions to clear the structure. Once we cleared the structure, we noticed a large hole in the ground where the explosion had caused the floor to collapse. Water was pouring in from the ceiling because the explosion had broken the plumbing pipes, and the hole was beginning to fill with water. The team leader on the ground basically said, let's get the dog in there and let's clear it with the dog first. I hooked up Conan on a long line, which is about a 25-foot leash. I hooked it to his vest and I lowered him down into the hole, and I had a camera that I could monitor to see what he sees or what he comes into contact with. I lowered him in there and told him to search, and as he began to move, I could still see from about his back hips to his tail, and he fell over and was shaking violently on the ground. I wasn't sure if he was shot or had injured himself some other way, but I started to drag him back with a long line, and he was laying on his side, just convulsing. So I get him out of the hole, and I told the team leader that I thought there was a chance that he got electrocuted, which ended up being what had happened. So when Baghdadi blew himself up, he had broken the plumbing, and the explosion caused live wires to fall down simultaneously as the water was pouring into the tunnel, which basically caused a pool of water that was basically had electricity running through it. So when Conan entered the water, he was electrocuted to the point of knocking him unconscious. So at this point, we were able to call up to a team outside the building, and they cut all the power to the building, and it allowed our guys to get down there. Conan kind of started to come back to and was still groggy and not acting completely normal, but he was back on his feet, and which was a good sign. After they conducted a search, they found out that it was indeed Baghdadi blowing himself up with a suicide vest in that tunnel. We were able to recover his remains and positively identify him, and that was a great feeling to all of us to know that we were successful in the mission.
Conan recovered from his injuries and returned to field duty shortly after the raid. On November 25, 2019, Conan and members of his special operations team were invited to the White House to be honored by President Trump, Vice President Pence, and the world. President Trump presented Conan with a Presidential Recognition Award. And today, We are so very proud to award SOF K9 Conan with the Animals and War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 23. God bless you, Conan, for your dedication, devotion, bravery, and service with the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Travis Roberts, Conan's handler, to the front to receive Conan's Medal of Bravery 23. And again, Congresswoman Jen Kiggans, who I will say is the co-chair of the new Bipartisan Working Dog Caucus, which aims to promote the positive impact of working dogs and support federal policies that advance their integration in law enforcement, military, and mental health spaces. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and it's a privilege to have that position as well. But gosh, thank you for sharing the story of Conan, and you can tell just how brave in that special relationship. I didn't know that story, that they had used dogs in that mission. So, and it's just an amazing story to tell and for all of us to share. But I hope this small token just allows you to just preserve his memory and just remember the friendship and the special just bond that the two of you shared. So thank you and congratulations.
Well, thank you, Robin, for putting this on. This is an incredible event. These dogs don't get recognized enough, and it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of. I'd like to thank my buddy Rick Hogg here, who, when we found out Conan had cancer, he has a foundation called In Honor of Duco Project, and he basically when I called him and said that Conan was going down a bad path and that we needed to get treatment, he took care of Conan and got him the treatment he needed to allow my wife and kids to come see him one last time. We were actually traveling in an RV, and a good buddy of mine had adopted Conan for us while we were gone, and we were across the country, and along with taking care of all of his medical requirements, he also flew our family out to say goodbye. So thank you. We'll forever be grateful, brother.
You're good, man. You're good.
I appreciate it, dude. I try not to get emotional. I want to thank the trainers at my work. They wanted to be here today, but I'm sure they're laying in a field or hiding in a dark building right now, waiting for a dog to come through the breach and engage them. They care so much about us as handlers and about the assaulters that they put in countless hours getting bit, eating breaches and flashbangs and being around gunfire, all to make these dogs the warriors they are, to protect us. All right, someone cutting onions in here or what? I want to thank my wife, Tara, for being by my side for all these years. Countless deployments and training trips, and you know, we have 6 kids. 2 of them aren't here. They're 9-month-old twin boys, but when I told her I wanted to bring this dog home to retire him after years of telling her how absolutely insane he was, she trusted me enough and grew to love Conan as well. To Vivian, Harlow, Cash, and Millie, thank you for
loving him and giving him the life he deserved in retirement. It's an honor to be here, and thank you again, Robin. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis. And I will say the second dog that was also on that raid did make it home. He's living in retirement with his handler. So that was also I love the stories. I learned stuff that I never knew, so that was really cool. I am just overwhelmed with the love and the pride and the emotion that has filled this room tonight. We want to thank all of our medalists and their incredible families and handlers and distinguished guests that were here tonight. We are truly blessed to be here and be in your presence, and we are so very grateful for your sacrifice and your service to your country. Can we have another round of applause for all of our brave heroes here tonight? And I want to give a special thanks to the members of Congress, especially Congresswoman Kiggans, who came and was able to be here tonight and took time out of this crazy day to be here and honor our heroes tonight. So now you've seen Chris Willingham at presenting the medals, but I'd like to call him up and have him say something about U.S. War Dogs. Chris has been retired after 20 years of faithful service with the United States Marine Corps, dedicated a majority of his career, of course, to the military working dog program, and served in key billets as a canine handler and canine program manager. And he's now the president of U.S. War Dogs. Go ahead, take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Ms. Robin. First of all, I'd like to say we truly appreciate the partnership and being a part of this award ceremony the last 5 years. It's an incredible honor, and I always leave here inspired, getting to hear these different stories, and we can't thank you enough for this opportunity. Just to kind of give you an overview of what U.S. War Dogs is all about, it was established in 2000 by 5 Vietnam dog handlers. So we're hitting our 25th anniversary of being a nonprofit supporting the military working dog community. Now those 5 dog handlers, they didn't serve together. They represented 3 branches of service, and they met at a reunion, and they said, hey, we want to come together and create an organization. They want to raise money for a monument to honor war dogs. That was in 2000. The next year, 9/11 happened, and our generation started deploying, and they started supporting dog handlers who were being forward deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Chuck Rotenberry, who was the vice president, myself, we were both on the receiving end of those care packages, and Ron Aiello, who was a longtime president and one of the first scout dog handlers to serve in Vietnam, one of my biggest mentors and friends. Their generation wanted to make sure that what happened to them didn't happen to us when it came to homecomings, when it came to that support that they provided us. Now, what happened after 9/11 is it turned into a life cycle of practical support. So from the time the dogs are active duty, we sent care packages over. We still do that. Last year, we sent 250 care packages to dog teams serving around the world. And when the dog retires, we have a military working dog service medal to honor that dog's service. Comes with a dog bed, some treats, and if you ask for it, some hemp pills for the dog to relax in retirement. And then the biggest impact we have is in retirement. So as you all have heard, as you all understand, these dogs don't receive the VA benefits that a veteran does. We select these dogs, we train them, we utilize them, and when the dog is done with their service, thanks to the Robbie Law in 2000, the handler can adopt them, but all the financial responsibility falls on that handler. And we all in here who are veterans understand that you live paycheck to paycheck and you don't serve for the money. But you're going to do everything you can to take care of that working dog because they mean the world to you, and there's nothing that can beat that bond between a dog and his handler. And so now you got these dogs. Since 2016, we've saved veteran owners $1.8 million in prescription medications alone. And the only program that we added, because every program was a conversation between a board member, which you have to be a military working dog handler or serve as a board member, and it came from a board member and the active duty dog handlers. One of my Marines was out in Yuma, Arizona, and his dog had to have emergency surgery, and we didn't have a program in place at that time to help him out. And I saw a GoFundMe for him, and I contributed, but we had to put our infrastructure together. We started supporting these emergency care programs and supporting those emergency cases. We got to drop a lot of money in a short amount of time. In the first year, we did $41,000, and we started talking about it on social media, did $111,000 the next year. And then last year, we did over $170,000 in those emergency situations, and I haven't seen a GoFundMe since for retired military working dogs. And we take them all the way to the end, so we take care of the end-of-life care for these dogs as they cross the Rainbow Bridge. And I'm telling you, from Chuck, myself, and the rest of the members of the U.S. War Dog Association, we're incredibly honored to be here. We truly appreciate this opportunity, and K9 leads the way.
Thank you, Chris. We're so proud to have you be part of this wonderful celebration. So now I need to also thank our sponsors, and I'll do this really quickly because I know we're running a little late. But we have gold sponsor Timothy D. Day Foundation, who have supported our organizations for years, even some of the monuments for Sergeant Reckless. We also have another gold sponsor here, Tony Mulligan from Hydronolix. You'll hear from him in a moment. We have silver sponsors, Gary and Mary West, Lee and Ramona Bass, and Martha and Stephen Peterson, who have been with us for several years now. Bronze sponsors, we have K9 Hurricanes Heroes, Deborah Sergisgetter, Med Vet, who's in the house tonight, National Assessment, who is also with us again for our second year, the Marine Corps League, Detachment 1062, and Three Pearls Charities. We are so honored to have you all join us and support this year after year. We're just very, very grateful for this, and we're very, very proud to have you with us tonight. I'd now like to call up Tony Mulligan and say a few words from Hydronolix. Hydronolix is a high-technology company specializing in extreme performance, small unmanned vehicles for both air and water. In fact, several of his vehicles are named after Reckless, and you can see his wonderful banner up there by the water station. So thank you, Tony, for being with us here tonight.
Thanks, Robin. I'm Tony Mulligan. My wife Lynn's with me. Strange way of the world of life that we're here right now, second time. We develop robots for the Marine Corps in the water, and the Marine Corps had this affinity for one of our platforms that they named Reckless, after Sergeant Reckless, and which was a pretty scary thing for us. Like, why would we name a product Reckless? And but then I had the luck of meeting Robin, and got her endorsement of what we were doing, because I didn't want to pick up a name, if the people who are really promoting it. And then I discovered something far cooler, and that was her organization and all of you people, the things that you guys do. My wife and I love animals also. And I mean, all we have to do is write a check, which we're going to gladly do. And but we're just so amazed by all of you. You guys are the ones that are really doing it all. And thank you so much for loving your dogs as much as you do. We just think that's beautiful. So thank you very much, and keep it up.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Lynn, for joining him tonight. I also need to take a moment here to thank our Animals in War and Peace nominating and advisory boards for their guidance, support, thoughtful selection to this year's nominations. We had 25 nominations come in this year. It was a tough, tough decision to make. Many of our group is here tonight, and I just ask you to stand up so we can really thank you all for being here. And I'd also like to thank the volunteers that we have, Colleen Moore and Olivia and Addison Koisman, who joined us outside and was helping seat you guys. So please stand up, board members, and get a round of applause. This event could not happen without all of the work that they did. And we had everybody working, putting out the artifacts, putting up the certificates, putting up the banners. It was absolutely amazing. So thank you, Team AWP, from the bottom of my heart. So before I conclude this evening, I just want to announce that the nomination period for our 2026 ceremony is now open until August 31st. If you know of any cool dogs or any animals, dolphins, pigeons, whatever, please send them our way. Horses, we love them. And we try to honor them in the best way that we can. And I want to make sure that everybody, all the medal winners know, and the sponsors, and to stay close. We're going to take pictures at the end. And then we're going to have a party at the Holiday Inn, National Mall. Everybody's invited. Please join us to raise a toast to all of these wonderful heroes. And I thank you very much. God bless you. And we'll see you next year.
Kelly Smith, Kelly-Smith.
Okay, and did you have a title? What's your preferred title?
Constable.
Okay, just constable?
Yes, sir.
For what area? Like
Wood County Constable.
Wood County?
Constable. Wood County, Texas Constable. Yes, sir.
Okay, you're rolling.
Well, congratulations, Constable Kelly and Mata, on having the Distinguished Service Medal number 10.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know, what were your thoughts the first time you met this canine?
Apprehensive at first. We bonded very quickly. When we first met, after bonding, I saw a drive in him that I didn't see in some of the other dogs, so we got to select him. He was donated to us by canineofficers.org, so they provided him to me, which was a huge gift. And he served our community the whole time, and so we were impressed. We were impressed by his demeanor, his drive, and his socialization. So he's a working dog, but also socialized, very social.
When did a bond happen between the two of you?
So I got him the first week, and we bond for about a week, and then we go to a 9-week patrol school. So the bond was happening in that first week, and then it just continuously got stronger and stronger.
All right, with all that he has accomplished, what is your favorite memories of him?
Probably tracking. He's a phenomenal tracker. A lot of he was able to find some kids for us, find a elderly that was lost in the woods. But even above that, probably his socialization with the kids. So we're able to do canine presentations with the kids, and he's able to interact with them a lot.
Do you have a funny memory with him?
Every day is funny with him. He has a Scooby-Doo face. He's always got funny mannerisms. In the truck, whenever we're running code or whatever, he does this whining, talking thing. He doesn't bark in the truck, and so he communicates with me a lot.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Kelly, and congratulations again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Louis Platania, P as in Paul, L as in Lima, A-T-A-N-I-A.
Thank you very much. And then what's your title?
My title is I'm a retired police sergeant.
And your location? Right?
Oh,
Vineland, New Jersey.
well, Vineland, New Jersey, yeah, because that's where I worked. Yeah, yeah, Vineland.
I've driven through there.
Yeah.
On my way to there, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thanks. You're just talking to Karen.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Okay. Welcome, Lou, and congratulations on the Distinguished Service Medal number 9 for a year. We'd like to know, what were your first thoughts going through your mind when you met him?
Man, he could pee a long time. He got out of the truck after a 7-hour drive, and when I met him, he was going to the bathroom for over a minute and a half, it seemed, and I was like, is this stream ever going to end?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a great service record together. When did you know that this canine was very special? I'll get to you in a minute here.
I realized that within the first year of being on the road with him, we encountered somebody that was under the influence of PCP, and we got into a pretty nasty fight where the guy tried taking my firearm off my hip, and I couldn't get off of him because he was holding me down so hard with the grip of the gun. I tried everything I could to get him off of me, and I just couldn't. The dog was released, and he came right to me and never thought twice but to jump right into the fight and apprehended the guy and made him release his hand off one of his hands off my handgun, which I was able to get the other one off with my own hands. But at the time, afterwards, I was like, this dog really works. I couldn't believe it. It's all the training came down to that moment, and it really worked out for us, and I was able to get home to her and my family.
With all that he has accomplished, would you say that's your favorite memory, or is there another one that's really important?
It's not my favorite memory. It's actually a hard one to talk about. Went through a lot with that, but he was there for so many different things. It's so hard to wrap it up, but the two that came to mind were that and another incident where one of our guys was stabbed in the face by a suspect, and they were in a fight for their life. They called for help, and when I got there, immediately they called for a dog. We went in, and without hesitation, he immediately engaged the subject and apprehended him, and they were able to put handcuffs on him. Luckily, my buddy survived the incident, but those two that really stick out in my mind.
You know, both of those are very impressive and life-altering. What is a funny memory with them?
I'll tell you one. I was on a search warrant with the DEA, and we were inside of a small trailer, and I told the case agent, come with me so you can see where he alerts. Well, Gear's got a shoe fetish, and he looked down, and I looked down, and I realized that my foot was in his mouth, and he was humping backwards, trying to pull the shoe away from me, but he didn't realize it was my shoe until he looked up and saw me and immediately spit it out. And the DEA agent thought it was funny, but it kind of hurt a little bit. It's all right, bud.
And from your perspective, how is it living with a Gear with the family?
He's still got a lot of patrol left in him. He goes to the hotel room, he immediately goes to work, he's looking for narcotics, but he's just a family pet at this point. You know, he's still in the same ritual, he's still outside, and he loves being outside in the kennel, runs around out back with my kids, and you know, we just try and give him as much as we got for a little amount of years he's got left.
You know, what would be one thing that you would say to future canine dog handlers?
Don't be lazy and work your dog.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi, Kate. Hi. Congratulations to you also.
Thank you.
This is one of your family members that
Yes.
has just received this Distinguished Service Medal Award.
Thank you.
What's life like living at home with him?
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so happy for him that he's retired now and he can play with the kids and just enjoy the rest of his time with us and not have to go to work and just be a dog.
Favorite memory?
Favorite memory is when we trusted him in our basement and found out that he was picking up our weights and chewing them and carrying them around the house. And he actually picked up a 15-pound medicine ball and was carrying it around in the basement. So it was pretty cool that he could do that.
Do you think he saw that as toys?
Yes, absolutely. He also ate several of my shoes that night, too, speaking of shoes.
Going back to the shoe fetish.
Definitely has a shoe fetish, without a doubt, yes.
And how has it been for your children?
Oh, it's amazing. They absolutely love him. We're dog people anyway, so they love having a big dog and small dogs, and they just love being around him.
You two are an amazing couple, and thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Thank you.
Okay, Sergeant Major Vidiana Lavalle, Vidiana Lavavalle. Title is U.S. Army Military Working Dog Program Manager.
You know Robin has nicknamed you your top dog with all of your Army nominations of canines. Can you share your thoughts on these extraordinary military working dogs that have served in your branch of service?
Well, first and foremost, it's an absolute honor and privilege to be here and be a part of this ceremony as we recognize these American heroes. I think it's important for all of us to take the time to not just recognize our two-legged soldiers, but also our four-legged soldiers for the dedication to their country and the sacrifices that they make.
When you first met your very first dog, take us back to that. What went through your mind?
So I joined the United States Army to be a dog handler. So I knew early on as a young child that I wanted to be a dog handler. So when I met my first dog in canine school at Lackland Air Force Base, it was absolutely humbling, and I just couldn't believe that I was finally there and achieving my dream.
You know how many boys and girls you're inspiring right now? What is the favorite memory of being in this program with your position and working with these dogs?
I think some of my fondest memories is as a trainer, when I was a trainer at Lackland Air Force Base, just being able to pick up green dogs and train them from knowing absolutely nothing to preparing them for operational requirements and being able to protect and serve other soldiers and service members across the nation and internationally, I think was very humbling, and I absolutely enjoyed it and was probably one of my best experiences in my military career.
Share a funny memory.
A funny memory? I would probably say, there's a lot of funny memories, but just training different military working dogs, different personalities, and just learning to adjust your training style, just like your leadership style, based off those personalities that you're working with.
Did anyone surprise you?
Absolutely. I did have a few that surprised me. I was always pro underdogs, so if I ever had an underdog, whether a two-legged or four-legged soldier, I just caught myself spending a lot more time and effort into ensuring that they were successful.
Can you share a specific incident? Because we just heard a story about one of the dogs that has a shoe fetish.
A shoe fetish. Well, there's a couple different military working dogs that I would say are OCD in just various ways, either oral fixation with always wanting a chew toy, or always spinning in one circle, different characteristics that we see throughout our military working dog program. All right, so I'd like to talk about one of my first military working dogs that I experienced at Fort Myer. He was actually blind in one eye, and despite that medical disability, he actually was a top performer in the kennels, hit the hardest, and was very strong patrol and drug capability, so it was definitely an honor, and just be able to work with him was very interesting and unique.
And how did everybody else feel about that dog that you had?
Well, they definitely underestimated his capabilities because he was blind in one eye, but despite that, he definitely hit hard and knocked everybody down.
And when did you know this was what you wanted to do? What inspired you?
So when I was a young child, I used to watch Rin Tin Tin, which is the police canine version of Lassie, right around 12 years old. So I really started falling in love with canine work in general. And then at 16, I was in ROTC, and my instructor put on War Dog, which is highlighting Vietnam war dogs and their stories. And I knew right then and there that I wanted to be in the Army and be a dog handler.
What would you say to kids, teens that are listening to this right now?
I would say to all those young kids and even young adults, if they're interested in working with animals and they have a passion for canine or dogs itself, this is probably one of the greatest military careers that you can do. And the Army offers their only service to be able to do a military working dog as a career MOS. So I would definitely say, if you're interested in being a dog handler, join the Army and fulfill your career.
Wish I could sign up right now. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It's Officer Blair, ERIC, BLAIR. I work for Springfield, Massachusetts Police Department with the K-9 unit.
All right, Eric, it's so good to see you today, and I want to congratulate you for Mr. Warner getting the Distinguished Service Medal number 8.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's a big honor. Thank you.
It is definitely a big honor. But I'd like to know the very first time that you laid eyes on Mr. Warner, what thoughts went through your mind?
Well, at that point, I was a green handler. I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I saw him, and we had looked at about 30 dogs that day, and just something about him, just his drive, it just had to have him. We actually did a test where we threw one of his toys into a pile of tires. He dove in, and all he saw was his back leg sticking up with his tail, and it was wagging. He was going to town trying to find that ball, and I knew that he was the one when I saw that. So just his drive alone, it amazed me. So.
And how soon did a bond happen between the two of you?
Bond, it took a little while with him. We kind of had to figure each other out. We were both new. I didn't know what to expect from him, and I don't think he knew what to expect from me. And we just we got bit a couple times, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but we got through it and became a great canine team for the city of Springfield. So.
When did you know that this?
Okay.
When did you know that this canine was really special?
I think like the first month on the street, he kind of got into his groove, and he just went after. Every time we got called for something, he was finding, it seemed like he was never striking out. He was always out there. He was finding people. He was finding drugs. It's whatever he was tasked with, he always came on top for some reason. That's how it was. So.
After everything that you have accomplished together, what is a favorite memory?
The favorite memory I always talk about is he was scheduled to retire in December of 2021. We had about 2-3 hours left of the shift, and we heard a call go out for shots fired, and an officer had shot at another individual, had shot at him. And we got in a car chase and ended up in a foot pursuit where this suspect that fired at the officer actually broke into a house and barricaded himself. So we got the call to go assist with this call, and Warner was deployed into the house that he had broken into and located the firearm and the suspect that was barricaded in a closet. So, and then he would go on to retire 2 hours later. So, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better way to go out, He went out the same way he went in, like a firecracker, so.
Very impressive memory for sure. But do you have a funny memory?
A funny memory? I think in his retirement, he really showed his goofy side. When we were working, it was always he was serious about his job, and, I still tried to figure him out after a couple of years, but the funny sides of him is he's just a regular dog at home. He just wants to, every now and then he'll lay in front of the fire and roll around on his back, and he'll bring you his toy, and he wants you to play with him, and, I guess that's the funniest, he's just an all-around goofy guy now that he's retired. So.
Well, congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a nice interview.
Here.
Sarah Kathleen Albright, Sarah K. Albright. It's Sarah, S-A-R-A-H. Albright is A-L-B-R-Y-C-H-T. I'm the Provost Marshal General of the Army, and I'm stationed at the Pentagon.
Share with us your thoughts about this beautiful canine program that you have going.
So the Army uses our canines for many reasons. We use them in combat, but we also use them in law enforcement every day. So this program, what it does for us is it gives us a special tool that you just can't replicate with technology. The dogs themselves are a partner for our handlers, and they give us something that technology can't. And what I would say that is, it's the dog has a will to live, and the dog will always try to protect its handler. And we have seen both in combat and in law enforcement duties that will to live and that genuine bond that happens between a handler and their dog is something that is precious that we want to continue to use as a force multiplier for the Army.
You have to know I'm very jealous of you that you have this role. Was there ever a moment that you saw a dog and it just touched you and you thought, I could do this?
I would tell you the story of Carmelo. Carmelo was a dog handler in Afghanistan, and that the dog was involved in an IED accident and was separated from the handler. And then we were able to get the dog back, but unfortunately lost the handler. When we gave that dog back to the family after it passed a series of tests, you just knew that it was a special bond to see that dog and that family. I'm sorry, can I stop? I said the wrong name.
Okay.
That's the wrong name of the different story.
We'll start again.
So just ask the question. Yeah. Okay, so the first time that I really was involved in a dog and the handler, that it really clicked with me how important that bond was when we were able to give a dog to a family after we lost its handler in Afghanistan. The dog's name was Jaco, and Jaco was given over to this family because the bond between a handler and the dog is so strong. This dog was special in that it could be tested out to be safe with the family, and to see the dog handed over to those kids was something really precious. And again, I would just say it's not something you can replicate with a piece of technology.
What would you say to young people that are watching this at the end of the ceremony reel about following in a canine handler's footsteps?
I would say it takes a special person to want to serve with a dog, because at the end of the day, the dog doesn't serve us. The handler serves the animal. You have to be able to want to travel the world. We do amazing missions all around the world in support of Secret Service, in support of law enforcement. You have to want to travel, you have to want to serve your animal, and you really have to want to do a different type of law enforcement. That may mean that you don't have a traditional partner with a human, but that you get this amazing canine partner. And so you have to have that will to serve, and you have to want to be a part of a team. Because that's really all the Army is at the end of the day. It's a team of teams.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on all your medalists today.
Yeah, we're really excited to honor our dogs today. Thank you.
I'm Command Sergeant Major Sean Klosterman, the Army Provost Sergeant Major, SHAWN KLOSTERMAN.
Can you share your thoughts about the K-9 program with the Army?
Yeah, absolutely. So I came into the MP Corps about in 2000, previous infantryman, and have multiple deployments. I've worked in a lot of organizations that have this niche capability of our military working dogs. And the thing when I worked as the regimental sergeant major at the schoolhouse, I got to be involved in all the training. And to see these young soldiers, right, or young Americans come in and join our Army, they find a uniqueness in these canine handlers with their connection to actually an animal, right? I don't think a lot of people are actually dog, cat, or whatever animal people, but these soldiers come in and they want to do it. And that effort that they put into training their dog, commitment to the Army and the mission, and just seeing the connectiveness, because our young soldiers deploy very young as individuals with their dog to support the Army's mission. And I just see a pride and twinkle in their eye every time I go out there and see them training, see them working with their dog. And it's not just about the animals, that connectedness they have, knowing that they're not only improving for themselves, but they're actually improving that animal to be the best it can be as well.
That is just a brilliant statement. Congratulations on all your medalists tonight.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hunter, Hunter. Last name? Laub, Laub. I'm a military working dog handler in the United States Army.
Share your thoughts on the K-9 program as a handler.
As a canine handler within our military working dog program, it's probably one of the best programs we have within the DoD program. Not every day that you get to go to work and get to play with dogs, but we also, they're companions. Definitely helps with building morale, especially with our younger soldiers. Right now I'm stationed out in Korea. A lot of them, it's their first duty station. So being alone at 18, 19, 20 years old, it definitely takes a toll, and it definitely helps being able to work with the dogs. But we have a great program. I know our Sergeant Major Lavalle, she's doing great things for our program, and she definitely does everything she can to make it bigger and better every day.
Do you have a special memory of working with your K-9?
I have a lot of memories with, I've had 4 different dogs during my career. With Minto, I have a lot of memories. He was not the nicest dog, but the most fond memory we had was our first day of certification. It was our first event. He ended up biting my arm, and then basically walked out there, calmed him down, and just kept going with the flow.
Well, Minto's one of our medalists today. What is a funny memory that you've had with him?
I'd say a funny memory. At the time of this, we didn't really socialize dogs a whole lot, but while we were on deployment, we were socializing with one of the other dogs there, and he was really weird around him. Like, he loved this other dog, which was really surprising, but it was really funny the way he interacted with him compared to how he interacted with other people.
If you could give a word of advice to a future handler for the young people that are listening to this interview, what would it be?
A word of advice is always stay flexible and stay open-minded. We learn everything each and every day, whether it's from our peers or our senior leaders or even our subordinates. So just stay open-minded, stay level-headed, and you'll be good to go.
Well, thank you for making the long trip so that you can receive Minto's Distinguished Medal.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Paul Leslie, Paul-Leslie. Sir?
What's your title for your identity?
Lieutenant, DeSoto County Sheriff's Office in Mississippi.
Well, congratulations, Paul, on Luca getting the Medal of Bravery number 21. It's quite an accomplishment. Something we'd like to know, after we've heard the inspiring story about Luca, what were the thoughts that went through your mind the first time you met him?
Very first time I met Luca, it was pretty quick. Immediately fell in love with the dog. You can tell he's very serious, very energetic dog, just driven. And I love that, especially on the patrol side. Luca was a very strong dog, and that's the dogs I typically gravitate towards. We just absolutely fell in love with him right straight out of the gate.
So I'm assuming that it didn't take long for a bond to happen between the two of you.
No, man, once we adopted Luca and got him back home, and we got to work very, very quickly. And he did some great things with us, and his goofy but strong bullheadedness was absolutely lovely. We couldn't help love it.
Do you have a favorite memory of working with him?
Not one that really sticks out in my mind as far as working, because every day was a new challenge with Luca. The thick-headedness and the goofy demeanor just come out. Every day was just its own challenge.
Do you have a funny memory that sticks out?
Probably the funniest memory is Luca would ride the four-wheeler with my son, and he would stand on the back of the rack, and it didn't bother him at all. He would ride up there, up and down the yard, and up and down the driveway, and he would just love it just as much as Bear would like to drive him around.
I'm trying to picture that.
Yeah.
Given his life in the line of duty tells us a lot about him. And I want to congratulate you on this medal.
I thank you. There's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer, and Luca absolutely volunteered his life for us, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And it's not just me. I'm not the only person he saved, and not on that incident. Luca had some other dates and days where he saved other folks' lives when Paul wasn't around, and we couldn't be any more grateful.
No higher honor.
Right.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Yes, ma'am.
Justin Keith Hansen, that's Hanson, Sergeant First Class, U.S. Army 7th Group.
Justin, we want to congratulate you as being one of the men that served alongside Luca. Congratulations on his Medal of Bravery, number 21. What were the first thoughts that ran through your mind the first time that you saw Luca?
So I had the honor of, during my on-the-job training before I even started as a true handler through the basic course, I got to spend a couple weeks with the kennels, and Luca was the first dog that really taught me each of these dogs have their own personality. Because he had a very strong one, and he let you know it. It was not only that he demanded that attention to that, but also when I was being taught, our whole job is communicating just through the body language of the dog. That's how we can understand what the dog is smelling or seeing, however. And he had one of the best tails, if you will. Whenever he got into odor, instead of wagging his tail left and right, he would start helicoptering his tail, and like, oh, he's in odor. It's right here. Watch him. He's going straight to it every time.
That's incredible.
So yeah, it was awesome to see, and one of those first things that really taught me, like, the basics. This is how to read the dogs. So.
Congratulations on the medal.
Thank you.